today we are going to talk about marketing, but I just want to set up the foundation right because a lot of people have a different kind of a notion about, marketing means advertisement, marketing means, trying to sell. And I just want to break that notion, like make a shift in the mindset when you're marketing, and especially when a lot of people out here are new investors. And I think having that foundation right will help you to scale better and understand the granularities around how you should be thinking about not marketing but solving a problem for someone. So let me share my screen. Okay, so like I said, the foundation lies within humanizing your brand, and this is what you're going to learn in this branding part before. And just to give you an introduction about myself and give you the tactics which are actually going to help you out, I think it's really important to start with something that I call it my story. I'll tell you a little story that I met my wife in a French class. And by the way, I don't know French at all. And as a matter of fact, you might know now because I don't know because I met my wife. And after that, we started dating and everything. But when I saw her and I was like, I wanted to get married to her. And we started dating, everything started happening. In fact, this was going on in my mind at the time when I met her. And I was like, love at first sight. I was literally bonkers. They were like music playing in the background. And I was like, it was completely dream type. So at that moment, I thought, you know what? I want to get married to her. But now, what would be the right way to do it? Because I wanted to make it a very special thing for her. And I wanted to propose her. And in order to do that, I thought, you know what? I want to learn how to play guitar because I wanted to, have a kind of a skill set and, do something special for her. So I went to the coach. I started learning guitar. It took me around 30 days to learn one particular song because that was our song and I wanted to sing that particular song itself. So I went to the coach and I told him, you know what? I just need one song and one song only. So just teach me the chords and I'm going to propose my wife around that. He said, okay. It took me a month. I practiced hard, really, really, very hard. 16 hours, like, would just pass by every single day. My fingers started hurting and everything, but, it was worth it. And when that happened, during that course of time, when you're learning something, your friends get to know that you know how to play guitar. They would call you over the weekends. They would say, why don't you sing us a song? Why don't, whatever you were learning? And what started repeatedly happening was that I was just singing one song because I just knew one song. And slowly and gradually the applause starting to fade away because they never used to care about anything. Like, yeah, just one song. So why are you gonna, like, we don't, and it's not even their songs. It's not their problem, right? So it got me to think a little deeper, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I go back and ask my coach what are the four favorite songs which are liked by most of the people? And in fact, I did that. I started learning those four songs which people really like, and I started playing those songs. Everybody started liking it. Everybody started, in fact, I started getting gigs, just like out of like interest, because for me, guitar was like a meditation, and I was improving as well as when I was practicing. So I was like, whatever the opportunities came by me, and I was like, let's do that. So this is in fact one of the restaurant terraces where I was singing a song, and that happened. In fact, I also started singing for people for old age home, and in fact, this is a picture of one of the old age homes where this was in India, and the magic about something that when you are actually touching a chord with somebody, they want to sing along with you, and this is exactly what happened at that moment. And one very important thing that I learned at that moment, that people don't care about what you have to offer. People care about how you make them feel. And it was a very, very important lesson, which defines like what is the problem that you're solving, and the change you're seeking to make is actually marketing. And this is what marketing is. So, and remember, like, empathy, marketing without empathy is a mistake. So the reason why I added the story before even introducing myself, because I wanted to give you a feel of an emotion, feel of an empathy. How does it feel like when I'm connecting with you, when you are connecting with somebody else? And now I can introduce myself. My name is Sahas, And I'm a computer engineer, system integrator, brand strategist. These are all the professional things that you can call me, but I don't really care that you can call me with those. They don't really define me. What really you are here is that what I can help you out with, and I can help you as an expert to humanize your brand by storytelling, and get you high paying clients from social media, and make that real connection so that you can create an impact in your life. And this is what I'm going to do with you today. I've done these webinars. I've been doing it from more than a year long, and got an opportunity to serve more than 500 investors, and they have upgraded their skill set on marketing side, branding side, lead generation, all of that stuff. And this is what you're going to learn today. We're going to start with power of storytelling, and this is something that I've already started telling you even before we started this conversation. And we are going to I'm also going to help you understand what is the brand soul foundation, which is actually the 3-step formula to have an authentic brand voice. Bonuses and questions if you have any after that. Sounds good? Raise of a hand. Any questions? All good? Okay, great. Okay, so starting with storytelling. By the way, storytelling is not just into your imaginations. There is a science behind storytelling. There is a hormone which is called as oxytocin, which releases when when you feel connected, when there is bonding, love, sharing, when you feel a kind of an emotion. That particular hormone is responsible for getting that kind of a feel, that emotion that you feel towards others' stories, others' emotions when they're talking about any story. As a matter of fact, if you realize when you are this is a kind of a statistics, like on an average 30% of your time in a day is spent daydreaming. You're not active 30% of the day. And movies, when you're watching movies, that is the only time when your brain is completely active, because you are listening to a story. You want to know what the hero is doing, what the villain is doing, how can a hero fight that villain and get that girl, right? And if you think about major brands, they talk about culture, they talk about they talk about emotions, they talk about feelings, and they always talk in stories. They never try to say, "Hey, buy my Starbucks cup," or "This is $10 a burger." They never say that. Why? Because that is transactional. They want you to connect with the brand. They want you to connect with the kind of value system they have. That is the foundation of any brand, and which is why they want you to connect with the culture of that particular company. That what kind of people are they from their hearts? What kind of feelings they arise when you are having that particular burger, when you are having that sip of a coffee? They want you to connect with that. They're never selling that it has X amount of sugar, these many calories. That is not something that is going to help them sell. What's going to help them sell is how you're connecting with their brand. For an example, like when you go to buy a car, most of the by the way, I was also into car sales, so I know most of the people who used to come to buy from me, they never used to buy it out of the logic. They used to buy it out of emotions. And if you think about yourself, like if you have ever bought a car, you would just start dreaming about it, sitting in, you are dreaming about it, you're sitting on the wheels, driving by, you have people, your children sitting at the back seat. You have those emotions coming up. You also have the feeling of status symbol associated with that particular car. And that is where the whole primitive side of your brain kicks in, gets you the status, that value, that feeling of, togetherness, that understanding, that emotion, that helps you to buy that car. And we always, define it or define by logic, but logic never plays the important role. It's always an emotion. And now, talking about emotion, always talking about marketing, like I said, talking about what problem are you trying to solve. I have a very good example around that. This will help you understand how to do the storytelling and how you can associate your brand, your personal brand, according to how can you solve a problem for someone. Now, let's say Hagrid. Now, Hagrid he's a character from Harry Potter movies. And now, if you all can see that he definitely has a hair problem, and I think he was sitting in the lockdown, he never went to the barber and he couldn't find one, so which is why he definitely has a problem. He has too many hair. And now what he's doing is he's searching on Google, he's trying to find a solution provider. Finally, he finds one and he said, "Okay, would you cut my hair?" And he said, "Yes, perfectly fine." And he goes there, has a nice haircut, and this is how he looks after that. all clean shaven, looks very funky, smart looking guy, all cleaned up. But once he gets his problem solved, the barber, who was an artist, he said that, you know what, I solve your problem. And Hagrid said, okay, here's your money, take it. Now, this is a very simple solution kind of a thing. Now, what if, imagine, this particular artist, this particular barber, had a kind of a skill which said that, you know what, Hagrid, I'll make a kind of a, I'll give you that kind of a look which is very macho, which will help you to, whenever you enter any bar, you're going to get all the standing ovation. People are going to serve beer on your table just like that. And Hagrid says, oh, I like it. Why don't you do that? He does it, and he even pays more than what it was before, right? So that happened because he tried to help him out to build a specific, give him a specific picture, like how his status is going to increase. Now, imagine if the artist was even more skilled and that person would say, you know what, forget about what the previous one said. I'm going to give you this kind of a beard style. And this is in vogue. You will be an early adopter right now in this society. And people want to connect with you with this kind of a hairstyle. He said, wow, I want to do this. But he says, you know what, I'm a boutique solution, so my charges might be a little extra. And he said, doesn't matter. I just want this kind of a hairstyle. I just want this kind of a beard. So he pays more for this particular thing. Now, imagine there's another one who comes in, and Rodrigo, I think he goes to the same barber, and because he's got the same kind of a, so like that must be really niched boutique barber, or he must have had some kind of a skill which said, you know what, forget what the rest of the people are saying. I'm going to give something which is going to stand you apart, make feel crowd like you're going to stand apart, and people are going to go, Jones, you're going to be the trendsetter from here on. He said, wow, I need this. I've been having that Hagrid style beard and everything from a very long time. This is what I really want. And he gives him loads of money. But I might have gone a little ahead with the kind of money that a barber might get for this kind of a hairstyle. But but you understand what I mean, right? Now I have a question for you. Who do you think is a hero here? You can unmute, you can speak, or you want to write it down directly on the chat, whichever way you're comfortable. Is it a scissor? Is it the artist? Is it him? Do you want to unmute, or you want to write it down on the chat, whichever way?
Can it be more than one person?
Sure, whatever you think.
I mean, like right. The barber because he got big, and the Hagrid because he got the nice look. So could it not be both?
Oh, okay. So that's a good analogy. Anyone else?
I think it's.
I think is the barber. Without the knowledge of the barber, he couldn't actually sell what he was actually offering to Hagrid, right? So here is the barber. You need to have certain kind of skills to actually do that the scissor can't do. The scissor needs you, and Hagrid needs you. So the artist is the overall hero of my point of view.
No, that's a very valid question.
It's the barber who's offering a solution to a problem. Is the hero.
That's awesome. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to give any try? All good? Okay. So the answer to this is Hagrid is the hero and the barber is the guide. Now try to envision yourself as the guide. Try to envision yourself as a solution provider. You don't want to become the hero in somebody else's journey. You want to help other person feel like that he or she is the hero. If you are the hero, what is the other person left with? What is your customer left with? Always think of what you can provide to your customer so that they can feel like a hero. They want to feel on the top of the mountain. They want to have that, all of the status. They want to have all that. They want their problem to be solved. So you are the guide. You were once a hero, which is what you're telling people, that I was a hero. So which is why I can help you. So I want to be the guide for you. So training your mind towards accepting the fact that you are going to be the guide of your story and help other people who are your customers going to be hero one day. which you were, which is why you can talk about that story. And tool, of course, is a scissor, because it's the hand of the artist. Artist is the barber who was a guide, who could actually guide him to certain angles, who could tell him that, you know what, this is what you're going to look like, this is what you're going to get, and I'm going to help you achieve those goals. So the tool is not the solution. The solution is in the hands of the artist, which makes the customer feel, not look, feel smart. And that's when you get paid. And that's how, that's why you either could be a journalist or you could be a specialist. The moment when you move towards being a specialist from a journalist, maybe you reduce on the number of clients that you cater, but you can charge more with the kind of skill set, with the kind of artistry that you have, so that they can achieve their goals faster. And you're bringing them a value. So now at this point of time, if you would have heard in the last two like artist talks, when I was talking about the barber, he never talked about the value. He never talked about the like price point. He said, you know what, this is how it's going to make you feel. And that's what the specialist does. He gives them an image. He gives them uh, a personality, a perception. This is how people are going to feel, and you're going to be looked as. You'll have authority around the kind of persona that you build. And that is a job of a specialist. So instead of thinking, how can you be a real estate investor like who everybody is, how can you be niched into something special and go around that and slowly and gradually build your domain around that? You got it? Any questions here? All good? Thumbs up? Okay, awesome. So change your mindset, like from thinking, what is in it from me? Think about how can I help them? It's a very important keyword in your life. It is the foundation of any marketing, anything that you do in your life, any business that you start. It's not about you, it's about them. Okay. Tools, there are millions of tools. There is radio, there's billboard, social media, flyers, podcasts. They're all the tools. They're not the heroes. Your customer is a hero, but the problem, you have to see how best you can solve your customer's problem with these tools available. And once you are able to direct them and guide them into a better position, then that solutions are being, then that problem is being solved. Now, when you think about these companies, Cardone Capital, Cardone University, WinnerX, Sasha Group, B School, Response. Have you guys heard about these companies? Who have heard about these companies? Raise of a hand. One or two of these, if not all, right? You might not know these companies from day one. The reason why you know them is because you know these people behind them. You know Grant Cardone owns Cardone Capital. Sasha, WinnerX, these are all by Gary Vaynerchuk. B School is by Marie Forleo. Crazy Eggs, Response is by Dean Graziosi. Crazy Eggs is by Neil Patel. Hello Bar, Kiss Matrix, they're all by Neil Patel. But the reason why you know these brands is only because you know the humans which were in front of the brands first, than knowing what they were selling. So this is a very, very important factor to realize, that instead of thinking like, how can I build a company, that is obviously building at the background, that's the foundation. Think, how can people connect with you on a personal level? How they can feel that, this guy, this girl, this person, this human being is going to help me achieve my goals. And that is how they feel that connection. And once you become the raving fan of that person, then you will find yourself asking or looking for opportunities. How can you invest with that person? How can you buy those things what that person deals with? And that is how you become a raving fan, or somebody becomes a raving fan and knows about these companies. And that's where you start up your personal brand. So you have heard about brand marketing. A lot of brands do it. By the way, Coca-Cola took hundreds of years to be at the position where they are today. It took lots of time for them to associate with happiness, to associate with seasonal greeting, holiday season, all of this stuff. Whenever there was a Coca-Cola truck passing by the road during the holiday season, that was the time people started realizing, oh, holiday seasons are on. So they built that persona over the period of time. But the thing is, a lot of people, they also participate in the direct marketing, like you see the flyers talking about the deals, combo offers, all of these stuffs are there. But the moment you realize, the moment you combine the both and humanize your brand, bring yourself as a connector between between a solution for the customer with the problem, with their problem and the solution, and that is where the gap gets a little less, because brands takes years and years to build that. But if you humanize it, if you put yourself, people are more uh, they're more going to be converted, more going to get connected with you, and they want to work with you by humanizing your brand. So which is why you see the recent personal brands like Gary Vee or Grant Cardone, they must have had a long way before they started being on social media. But at the same time, remember, it took them 10 years or 15 years to be there. Brands don't take, brand takes longer in that case. So what is achieved by humanizing your brand is helping people achieve their dreams. So helping the customer, helping Hagrid achieve their goal, his goal of, looking smart, being out of the crowd, looking stand different, create a win-win for them, and build an authority by taking responsibility. Very important word is in this sentence is the responsibility. Because the thing is, a lot of people want authority but don't want to take a responsibility. You might want to become a leader, but you don't want to help other person because you thought, oh no, this is not my time, he's not my type. So it is really important to understand the fact, if you're seeking authority, you have to start looking it from the responsibility point of view, and you can do it. And all of this without even trying to sell, because if you see, like I've told about all the brands, they just provide value. They just give you all the tools. They never hide away. They always talk about the strategies. And you're more likely to buy because you know what, you think that I have a genuine connection with this person. He's trying to help me. He's trying to guide me. Again, guide me. And that's what you want to become. And that's where you build up your true tribe and makes a difference, make an impact, which you are proud of. Now, there is a 3-step formula of whatever that I've talked about, where you can actually, start dialing into things and figure out how exactly what you could do also for your personal brand. So the first step is brand soul foundation. The brand soul foundation is a very, very, like it says, the foundation of your personal brand. So there are a couple of questions which you need to answer, and they're not going to be just external answers. They're going to be under the surface level answers. Who is it for? Who are you trying to help? Who is your customer? What are their pain points? What do you stand for? Now, when I say what do you stand for, what are your values? What is your voice? When I talk about values, if you don't know your values, I think this is a very good exercise that you've got to do. And one of the ways what Dean Graziosi also talks about is go 7 level deeper when you are trying to look for your values. So understand, what are your values? What kind of a person are you? Are you the kind of a person who has integrity? Is that what you connect with more? Are you the kind of a person who is courageous enough, who is a connector? Are you the kind of a person who's a caregiver? So there are 12 different brand archetypes which you can dive into, the value archetype which you can dive into. 5? Okay. So, and that's how you get to know the core brand core foundation. And then comes the emotional mapping. Emotional mapping is where you talk about your journeys, you talk about your stories, you talk about how you can make an impact in their lives. You get them to take an action. The last part is really important. Talking about your stories will not do anything unless you ask them to take an action. Always, whenever you're writing a copy, whenever you're writing a story, try to get them to take an action. And that is where the action is going to happen. Otherwise, they will not be accountable, the customers that you are trying to help. Your messaging should truly connect with your audience, and it should speak specifically to them. So when you're saying that I'm a real estate investor who only deals with 1 to 4 multifamily, 1 to 4 multifamily, 2 to 6 multifamily properties in this location, under the price point of this, you're becoming very niched. Maybe 1 or 2 things that you can remove. But when you're talking that, then you're having a right customer in front of you because they are looking for you. So think about how you can position yourself and how you can truly connect with them on a human way. If you want to take a screenshot of this, you can take the previous one. Okay. Now, when we talk about your messaging, where does your messaging come from? Like, where do you write the copy? Where do you write the captions? These are the things that you actually write down on your stories. You talk about your mission. You talk about your pillars. You talk about your values. You talk about your story. Now, when I say your, it does not mean it's your, but you provide it in such a way that it connects with your customer so that it feels like it's their story. It feels like their values are connected with your values. So it gives that your mission is where they're going to get succeeded through your mission. Just a small example, like talking about these posts, don't do this. This is not serving you. This is not even serving them. If you're posting, plastering your social media with this because you're talking about, I'm a deal maker, I can help you if there's this is very transactional. Try to build up your rapport. Try to give things for free. Offer that. Be generous when you're marketing. The things that you will get noticed, and in fact, Mark is also here, so I've taken his particular Instagram profile in consideration. Now, when you look at it, bio is your first impression when you're looking at building up your brand. And when you look at the bio, a person who is coming onto your page has 3 seconds to make a decision whether I need to follow this guy or not. And which is where you need to be very quick in understanding and making them realize that how you can help them. So he says, helping entrepreneurs break the sales and mindset barriers. On the point. Now he says, credibility. I have $89 million of closing, podcast, real estate investors. So, and then comes the content. So colors and image stands you apart. Now, when you think about, when you talk about Mark, he has a kind of red tone going on. So you know that you have psychologically already registered that red goes with Mark. And your captions. This is where you talk, you make that connection. If you think that you're an introvert, and if you think that you cannot show your face, have long captions, and there's where you can talk about. So this is what I want you to do. These are the things that will help you notice. I want you to take a screenshot of this, and this is what you can start implementing in your bios right away. So, right, I help the type of person that you want to help. What action are you going to do in order to help that person? And what is your niche? So to give you an example, I help entrepreneurs, or like I said, I help experts humanize their brand so that they can close high-paying clients and create an impact that they're proud of. Problem, external solution, internal solution, and a philosophical transformation. Okay. So I help influencers build audience by creating impactful content. So this is what you could do. Take a screenshot of this. That's it. If you have any questions, ask away.
Thanks so much, Sahas. That was amazing. There's a lot of value in there that I think everyone can get from it.
Yeah, sure.
Got lots
sure.
of value.
Thanks, Sahas. Really informative. Definitely helped me, and definitely gonna take action based on what you've explained in your presentation over there. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine, man.
Awesome. Yeah. So now we can get on with Mark then.
There you go. Awesome. Thanks, Sahas. That was awesome. So cool. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate that. So give some background about me before we get right to it, because I really want to compress time. Is if you don't know me, I'm going to give you some full disclosure here. Is when I speak from the heart, I speak from the soul, and just forewarn, if there's children around, you may just want to. I just let it go. I used to filter myself all my life, and all it did was hold me back. And the moment I cut that cord, it was when I was able to really accelerate. So just want to be real with all of you. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I was going to do a little introduction on myself, but Sahas put my Instagram page there. So quickly do that for you. Give you some background information on myself. High ticket sales, that's my background. Okay. So I've done over 24 years of high ticket sales. End of 2021, we'll hit that $1 million break barrier. Okay. So I'm really, really stoked about that. For me, that's important to me. It's because it's that threshold. And what I've come to realize in my high ticket sales or the sales environment, what made me very successful, allows me to continue being successful, is I focus my attention on relationships. I lead with value, and what I'm doing is I want to provide value first. And what I've come to realize, the more value you provide is really how you can actually sign your own paychecks. That's what it comes down to. Okay. So lead with value. Okay. The amount of value you put out there is going to be directly correlated to what your income is going to be. Okay. So that's the first thing I want to say. Second thing is, where I got introduced into sales was I did high ticket in medical device sales. So up until March of last year, I was selling ICU ventilators. So I was on the phone with the Ministry of Health on a Friday night, and they were telling me they needed ventilators directly to Doug Ford's office. And it was great telling him, I told you so. I told you guys back in November, stuff is happening in China and we have a supply issue. In March, they're saying we need to order 300 ventilators. We need them here by Monday. It's not going to happen. Okay. So this tells you, like, we were right into the mix of COVID and what was happening. But what happened during that time, I saw the light. I saw the corporate greed when people were on their knees. I saw the way prices were being gouged. And you know what? And for anybody, should never, ever sacrifice their reputation just to make a buck. That was my realization. And I walked away from a very lucrative position in a company as executive sales manager, and I went into full-time real estate investing. Okay. So that's when I became unemployable, I call it. Okay. Not retired, but unemployable. So how I started off in real estate investing, I started off just like most people. They go on YouTube, they read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and they think they can do it on their own. So I learned a hard lesson in life that, yeah, you can do that once, maybe twice, maybe 4 times, which I did. But all I did is I hit that wall. So it wasn't until I got into smaller rooms and I started really focusing on my personal development that I really lifted that glass lid off, and essentially didn't lift it, basically shattered it. Okay. So through this time and through this growth and so forth, I realized that I've been doing sales all my life and how I've been so successful. So why not share that knowledge? Because there's this inherent fear that most have about selling. They don't want to sell. And why? It's because they don't like to close people. And I don't like using the word close people. I think it's just wrong. I don't like that moral aspect. I'm closing someone. I close someone. That's just wrong. But 2 is everybody fears about being rejected. So I tell people, you've been selling all your life. If you have a partner and you decide where you guys are going to eat tonight, and let's just say your partner wants to go to Swiss Chalet and you want to go to, let's just say, I don't know, pick another Boston Pizza, and you win, guess what? You outsold. If you tell yourself you're not a good salesperson, guess what? You sold yourself in that you are not a good salesperson. It's all in our head. Sales is a behavior. Sales is a result. Marketing, which Sahas talked about, is the action. You need that marketing aspect. Marketing and sales go hand in hand. Pfizer invested billions and billions and billions of dollars. I can't remember what the number was. I think it was like $3 billion before they first sold their first blue pill. You guys know what blue pill I'm talking about, right? And look where it made their money back, right? Everything starts with the marketing aspect. Sales is the result of it, because the one thing that we have control over is the amount of revenue in any of our businesses. If you're buying your first single family home, you control the revenue because you have control on the cash flow by setting your rent, for example, negotiating utilities. Okay, this is all sales. Okay, So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to play a quick video. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. Let me see if it allows me to. Oh yeah, it allows me to. Okay, great. So you're going to see my ugly mug here for a second. I apologize again. So I'm going to play it for you guys here. This was a video that I did for actually a college student and was talking about sales. So 1 second here. Can you guys see my screen? Thumbs up. Is that good? Okay. Hopefully you guys, maybe I made a mistake here. I'm just going to stop sharing for a second here. I want to make sure I do this right, because anytime I do this, I forget to do the sound with it. There we go. Sure sound. There we go. Okay, let me know if you guys can hear this okay. Asset you need, or anyone needs, to be successful in high ticket sales is listening. If you're a poor listener, you will fail miserably. As much as I've been able to be very successful in high ticket sales, I'm still studying high ticket sales.
What are some of the basics of actually selling?
It's listening is the most crucial thing, okay? So you need to be listening. Everybody wants to be heard. The most successful salespeople I know are the ones that talk less. Things I do is I tell people is that when you're starting a relationship with someone, whether it be a sales or whatever it is, some salespeople will say, hey, we're problem solvers. We're solution providers. How can you be a solution provider if your consumer hasn't told you what their problem is? If someone's an alcoholic and I tell someone they're an alcoholic and they haven't professed or admitted that they are one, there's going to be a fight because you're saying, I got a problem. So what you need to do is you need to expose the problem, and you got to be real with people and saying, hey, this is the way I see it from my lens, and correct me if I'm wrong. That's how I start with people. And until they expose what the problem is, then you have them in your hand, and that's when you can provide them a solution. Whether it's acceptable or not, doesn't matter. So you need to lure them into that conversation. You have to be empathetic. The consumer, the customer, needs to feel like they're your only priority. So it's how you make that customer feel. So taking notes. Hey, Mr. Mrs. So-and-so, do you mind if I take out my notepad and take notes while you're speaking? That does two things. One is it's making sure you're not missing anything. But most importantly, it gives the customer the feel like, hey, this person's actually giving me their undivided attention. It's a tactic. Other things that can be done, like it's like going and buying a suit off the rack versus going to a high-end tailor-made suit place. I've done this exercise with salespeople before. So I take my tailor-made suit, say, here, try my suit jacket. They're putting it on, or like, oh, it feels a little, because it's size for me. It's okay, how does that feel? Well, I don't know if I like it or not. Okay, give it back to me. I actually take the coat and I put it back on them myself. So I put it around their arms, clean out the corners, and around the arm parts, make it smooth. How does it feel now? Actually, it feels better. It's the same jacket. The difference is how I made them feel.
Do you study that just because there's a passion for it, or because you understand that there's like you were saying, is that sales is everything that you do, right? And even real estate, right? It's like selling is for raising capital, or, closing on a property, all that sort of stuff is still sales. So is that just something that is just ingrained with you and you just continue to learn?
Yeah, I'm extremely passionate about mindset, which I know we're going to be talking about. To be successful in sales, it's all in your head. And so my passion when it comes to sales is the behavioral and psychological aspects of the sales. It's not the CRMs. It's not the follow-up aspect. It's about your consumer only listens to one radio station. So it's understanding that level of empathy and to talk to someone at that level. So there's a science behind this. Sales is communication. Sales is the art of persuasion. So if I'm talking to you, for example, Max, about a product here, anyone's natural response is going to be they're trying to sell me on something. So our amygdala in our brain is already our tripwire, basically saying, hey, this guy's up to something. There's fear. That's how we're designed. So if I'm coming very hard with something at you, it's not a difference in that education between us. No, the difference is I'm actually talking to you, the brain that's working for you at that moment in time, saying this guy's trying to screw me. So that's your fear for a response. So I'm actually talking to your crocodile brain. There's actually great books on this. And I'm actually coming from a level of neocortex. So I need to be able to bring it down to get that acceptance. So yeah, as you can see where I'm going with this, about you asking about my articulation of my words and so forth, it's that softer approach. It's gaining trust. It's empathy. The biggest mistake, actually, I'll rephrase that. The biggest asset you need, or anyone needs, to be successful in high ticket sales is listening. If you're a poor listener, you will fail miserably. That's really what sales is like. And that's the thing. I don't want to overcomplicate sales. What sales is really doing, it's the art of communication. That's it. I'll pick on Kunal, for example. Kunal said he wanted to come in here and perhaps learn about how to raise capital and all the other stuff. So if I go into you and I say, hey, Kunal, I got this property and it's going to do an ROI of this. It's going to do this. It's going to do this. It's going to do this. The natural response from me, if you're telling me that, is like, dude, whoa. Like, you didn't ask me why I care. See, there's 3 W's that we got to be focusing on. Number 1 is, why should I care? Number 2, it's what's in it for me. What's in it for me? There's a radio station, which is WIIFM. What's in it for me? And number 3 is why you? Because there's how many other people you go on Facebook and it's like, hey, I got a deal. Hey, I got a deal. Hey, I got a deal. Right? So what we need to do is we need to simplify that, because if you're coming to me with that, yes, you're coming at the higher level. To build that trust, I have to make a decision. I have to make a decision whether I'm going to run away or I'm going to listen to you. So we have to bring it down. So the way the communication is, we have to talk at that crocodile brain. We're coming in at such a higher level. That difference is 7 million years of communication. It's our caveman brain versus to our high complex thinking, our problem solving. Okay. So this is what it's so important especially with real estate. If you're looking for partners, you know, the late Stefan Ari, I just posted a video on this, wrote a book, Money People Deal, phenomenal book. Okay. And real estate is with the utmost respect, but the transaction is quite simple. If you're a real estate investor, there's a triangle. Okay. Money, people, deal. Money, people, deal. All one has to do is bring 2 of those angles or those points, and the third naturally comes. That's right. Pitch anything. Oren Claff, fantastic. And flip the script is his other one. Fantastic. Thank you. So having said that, when you do that, you're coming in and you're basically removing any issues from that person thinking they should run away. You're keeping it simple. But the first things first is the biggest mistake. Again, people they are not listening. They're not listening. Kunal may come to me and saying, I got this. It's like, dude, I buy motorhome parks. Why would I look at your single family home? Right? Relationships are done and seasoned by listening. So I can't emphasize that enough. And the other thing as well that's so important, and Sahas talked about this, and there's a famous quote by Maya Angelou. And Maya Angelou says, it's not what people don't remember what you told them. They remember how you made them feel. If you treat someone poorly, they'll never forget that, and they'll never want to deal with you. So we always have to be thinking on that level. Lead with value. A great book is The Go-Giver. Highly recommend that book. A simple read. I actually had Bob Berg as a guest on my podcast, and we talk about that. I read his other series of books, and we talk about this. It's instead of looking at the sale and the CRM and that kind of stuff, the fundamentals is so simple. Look at the guy selling ice cream on a little bike. Hey, what flavor you want? This tastes so great. It's so hot outside. They're not go punching in a CRM and ClickFunnels and all their stuff, because that's what happens. We get analysis by paralysis, right? Or paralysis by analysis, sorry. Okay. So these are things I really want to, like, if you guys know my style, I just right to the point. I'm not a PowerPoint person. I don't have the patience to do PowerPoint. I've done too many in my life. I call it, no offense, Sahas, but Sahas more detailed. But I call it death by PowerPoint. I put myself to sleep with PowerPoint. So I just want to tell you guys, this is what you need to be doing. And you need to market yourself. Marketing yourself from a point of either brand marketing yourself, getting in a room, because remember, it's not who you know. And I say this a lot if you guys follow my content. It's not who you know. It's who knows you. I joke about this. I know Jay-Z. Jay-Z doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. Right? It's who knows you. Another fantastic book you all have to read. It's by Benjamin and Dan Sullivan. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Who, not how. Who, not how. Okay? When you listen to that book is so powerful, because what's holding a lot of us back from taking action is we're trying to figure it out ourselves. Dale Carnegie, phenomenal, you Think and Grow Rich, American Steel. He said, I just need to do 2 things. I need to find the people that have the ideas, and I need to find the people who can sell the ideas. And he became one of the world's richest people. He went right to the who's. And yes, unfortunately or fortunately, you may have to pay to get into the who's. But what's more expensive? is trying to figure it out yourself, because time is wealth. It's compression of time, because that is the non-renewable resource. So look at how we're doing for time. I'm not sure we're good. Still good, Diana? Okay, cool. Awesome. So marketing, branding goes hand in hand with sales. And the reason that is, it's not the real estate. If we're talking about real estate, it's not the apartment. It's not the house that's the asset. You are the asset. How much are you investing in yourself? Do people trust you? Are you listening? So I can go do a deal with Diana, no problem, because we fostered a relationship. Diana says, hey, Mark, I need $100,000. Okay. We don't have to go through the whole, because we fostered that relationship. She's done a good job selling herself to me. But how did she do so? Is by leading with value. That is the key. Okay. So foster those relationships, get into small rooms. I commend all of you for being in this room. I think this is fantastic. To have Diana and Sandy organize something like this, this is awesome. This is awesome. So you want to get into the small rooms. That's what's key. This is what a mastermind is. This is what a mastermind is. Okay. And also you have to remember, like, I've been part of other masterminds, like with Sahas, with Randy, with Dwayne, with Diana, and so forth. But it doesn't stop there. Like, Sahas knows where I'm going. I've just recently joined another one, which is I'm actually really excited to announce that next week I start. Tim Story is actually my new coach. If you don't know who Tim Story, do you guys know who Tim Story is? So Tim Story is good friends with Oprah Winfrey, and he's actually Kanye West's personal coach. He's Puff Daddy's, he's Magic Johnson's, and Robert Downey Jr. Anybody knew what he was doing before Iron Man? He was in prison. Robert Downey Jr. hired Tim Story. Is it cheap? Hell no. But I realized for me to break through those ceilings and do it quickly, I have to get in those rooms. Now, Tim Story is just not going to work with me. I had to sell myself to him, right? Oprah Winfrey's good friend. Who's Mark Smith? Like, seriously. So he had to see what was in it for him. So I had to sell myself on that. Why should he care? What's in it for him? And why me? These are the fundamentals. Has this been helpful for all of you? So you'll find that I won't talk about product. I won't talk, it's about the asset. So when you're in a room like this, you become an asset in this room. Because now I love it, and that's why I pick on you guys to turn on your videos, because I can't create a relationship with you because I may see your name, it's in black. We could be walking down the street and I don't know who you are. I was at the LCBO. No, I wasn't getting drunk. I had to pick up a gift for my accountant. Okay. This guy next to me, I'm sitting there and he goes, hey, I'm like, yeah. He goes, you're 7'2". I was embarrassed because I didn't know who he was. And if you don't know what 7'2" is, that's my handle, 7'2" Mindset Investor. You're 7'2", you're 7'2". He's been following me forever, apparently, but he never reached out. So I couldn't connect the dots. What an opportunity, right? So then we foster a relationship right away. Okay. Do you guys have any questions for me or comments?
Great information. I love the Go Giver. I read that one. I really like that one.
It's a great book, yeah, for sure. And it's very simple, right? So the one thing I'm going to add to all of this, to all of you, I get it. It's tough. Our mindset, we've been dealing and living in our scarcity mindset for too long. Especially us Indians. You guys know what I'm talking about. Always try to get a deal for something, right? I know. And if I didn't, my dad would hit me with a stick, right? Okay. Where people fail, people's own failure is their unwillingness to invest in themselves. People are going to have opinions when you're not investing in yourself. But guess what? When you start investing in yourself and you're shattering those things, guess what? Now, okay, that makes sense. Look what he did. Look what she did. investing in yourself, again, it's investing in yourself so the world knows who you are. So if you're an aspiring real estate investor and you know in your heart and you have that confidence in your heart that you're going to own that apartment, you're going to own 10 buildings, you're going to own all of New Brunswick, invest in it now. Everything starts up here. You got to plant those seeds here and you got to continue cultivating it. A lot of people do that after the fact. I was guilty of that myself. I've invested heavily in social media, to the point where I decided to partner up with Sahas, and now we have a new company called 72 Media. Prior to that, my personal branding expenditures were on track for probably about $90,000 a year. How many of you in this room had heard of me before this? Through Instagram, social media, and that kind of stuff. Okay. It's the power of that. Social media and using it from branding. If you're the most private person, I get it. It's okay. You can create an alter ego effect because you need to be a lightning rod, because you're going to reach a point where you are going to need the money, you're going to need the people, and you're going to need the deal. Market yourself. If you're shy, that's okay. Take a video of yourself. Take a video of one of your projects. Hey, I'm looking to buy this. Throw it out there. It's time to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.